Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and knowledge, welcome to a one-of-a-kind experience that will take you on a captivating journey beyond our world. Today, we have a special treat for you as we sit down with the renowned Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier. Prepare yourself for a rapid-fire question and answer session that delves into the depths of cosmic wisdom and unveils the mysteries of the universe. As always, please remember to like this video and share it with your friends and family. That way, it gets seen by more truth seekers. So, without further ado, here are today's rapid-fire questions and answers.
Dear Alex, obviously you are informed by the A's, but who or where do you go to get other information? Who else do you believe is accurate? Your opinion is highly regarded, and any person, site, channel, or group, entities, books that you would recommend, and why? You've already mentioned a few previously, but could you repeat them again? It's much appreciated.
Sure. I go to many different sources for current information, at least here on the planet, because there's so much going on. The people that I hold in very high regard would be Mike Adams is one. Cliff High. I think his last talk, which I think was just yesterday or the day before, sci-fi woo or something to that effect.
Expansion woo or explosion woo implosion.
Implosion woo. That was excellent. It really was. And I like how he makes all the information very concise. I will listen to Michael Jacko. I will follow occasionally Mel K, and just a host of other people. There is and Knights of Terra, the Telegram Knights of Terra. You guys are doing phenomenal work of condensing and pulling information together. So that's really, really good. Whiplash 369 is also a very good source for the military stuff. And that's roughly it. I mean, there's bits and pieces that come from different places that I think are great. I find Yutsava interesting, and I certainly support her work in saving, horses and donkeys and mules. So, and then of course there's you guys. Sometimes you send me information. So, there's so much. It's literally impossible to be able to access it all yourself. So, it comes from multiple sources, and I think what's really important is that you put out your intention of what information you're looking for, and try to be as specific as possible. And if you put that intention out, you'll be amazed at how the information will find its way to you. It's almost magical the way that works. So the more clear you are about what it is that you want to know and what it is that you want, that information finds its way to you. So there you go. So I've repeated it.
Hi, Alex. Do you think there are many world leaders left at the present time who are not clones? Thank you, Jane.
That's a really, really, really good, Jane, question. Well, here's who I think isn't real. I think Boris Johnson isn't the right guy. We know Biden is not the right guy. I have doubts about Pelosi. I think Macron is still the right guy because he's still screwing everything up, and he better watch his ass there because the French, they're not one to tolerate a lot of bullshit. That's really an excellent question. I think those that were so corrupt that there was no way they were going to flip to the light, they've been removed. Or they were already gone and something else was in their place in the first place. So it's fascinating. It's really fascinating. I'm going to say, and this is just a guess on my part, that probably 20% of the world's leaders have already been replaced. They're either actors, clones, or replicants that are in their place. Clones would be a biological creation, but they have a microprocessor that's grown in their head, and then it's just fed the memories, or it has a handler, someone who tells it what to do and what to say. And a replicant would basically be a robot, a synthetic. And if you've been watching and listening to the webinars for some time now, I have told you that replicants are used on starships. In the A and B ring of Saturn, there are huge mining ships that were left behind by the Anunnaki the last time they were through here. And the maintenance crews and one of them is 10,000 miles long, it appears. And the maintenance on those ships is done by replicants. So yeah, I mean, that's not new technology. It's new to us. I mean, we've seen it in movies, but that's just their way of disclosing the fact that some of that technology is here and it's been brought here. So, great question, but that's my answer at this point.
Hi, Alex. You mentioned before that your connection to this planet happened when you were caught here in the middle of a galactic war and decided to help. Did the A's have a colony here on our planet? Is there any historical records of their colony here? Or were you just passing through on a mothership? The only reason I ask in relation to this is how you became trapped here. Is it karmic in nature? Thank you for all you do.
No, it wasn't karmic. And the outpost, it wasn't a colony, it was an outpost, was on Lemuria, what is now called Lemuria. Mu was its original name, Mu. And of course, that was at the bottom. That is now at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. The northernmost point of the mountaintops is what is now known as Hawaii. And but no, it wasn't karmic, and I still have a lot of questions about all that I don't have the answers to. But I specifically asked if it was karmic, and the answer was no. So, whatever addendums were in my contract, I'm not aware of them. So I don't know how to answer that question any further than how I have.
Dear Alex, have you met anyone you knew from your life on Andromeda, here on Earth, who is also incarnated on Earth? That's from Pragya.
Well, outside of Mornay, two of his crew were familiar to me, though there's been no exploring that particular relationship. When I was on their mothership, there were several people there that I felt like I recognized, especially one child. When I say a child, he was probably 100 years old. He was probably 100 years old. But to me, he was a child. He says he looked like a child. He was very familiar to me. And I wasn't sure if he was related directly to Mornay. Maybe it was one of his children, or if it was a relationship that he and I had. I know it wasn't Visayas, but I never did get a clear answer to that question. And I was just wondering if what I was looking at was me there at that time in the future, in that present form, if he was me. That has crossed my mind, and but I do not know for sure. But it kind of haunts me a little bit because I'd really like to know. I would like to know that no matter what happens here, I make it home. I make it home. The broken pieces always find their way home. I would like to know that if that was the case, but I don't know that. So that's all I got. Next question, please.
So that would be an interesting to imagine yourself coming back on that ship and seeing yourself as you are now from that perspective.
Right.
What would you do? Would you go up and say, "Oh, hi, Alex, I'm you from the future," or would you just kind of observe? That's a very interesting thought, isn't it?
Well, I don't know that would be allowed, but I mean, if he had looked at me and shook his head like I do, that would have been a giveaway.
Uh-huh.
That would have definitely been a giveaway.
Alex, you mentioned that negative memories will be removed from us because they don't serve us in the new densities. Will we remember those who do not graduate? Will civil unions like marriages continue in the next density? Not that marriage is bad, just wondering. Thank you from Terrence.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, now as far as being removed, it is not going to be some outside source that's going to do it. What's going to happen, as I understand it, is that as we expand our consciousness into the light, we are going to let go of all those programs, memories, habits that no longer serve us. It's a spiritual decision by the being itself. These things no longer serve me, so I'm going to just let them go. So it's not that you forget. It's not like they're going to be erased. I mean, you're not a computer. It's just that if they no longer serve you and they are not part of your expansion, because that will be the focus, is expansion into the light, becoming the light, then you let it go because it isn't serving you. And that will accelerate everyone's ascension movement or movement to higher ground. And it's a conscious decision made by everyone. Now, will we remember other folks? I don't know exactly that because, again, I've not been in fourth. So I'm not an expert on that. But I would think genetically we would retain those memories. You know, there are people we meet that we knew we've known them before, but we don't know where, because the bond is instant. So the body remembers, the soul remembers, the soul will always remember. And if we are incarnating over and over and over again, whether it's third, fourth, or fifth, or wherever, in our particular soul groups, well, we're going to know everybody. And at some point in that relationship, the memory of knowing them will come forward. So to answer that latter question, I would say yes, we will remember those who are either left behind or who are slow to catch up. Maybe that's a nicer way of putting it. They won't make the jump as soon as others. It doesn't mean they won't. It's just that in order to jump from what you know and have known for thousands of lifetimes into something you don't know is an act of incredible bravery. And you either have that kind of courage or you learn it. For those that already have that kind of courage, well, you're going to be the first ones. You'll be the first or second wave. For those who haven't got that kind of courage or bravery, and it has to be taught to them, they're going to do baby steps. And that's okay. That's okay. It is what it is. You know, because ultimately all the broken pieces find their way home. And to me, that's all that matters. The timeline doesn't matter to me. It's just that eventually everyone gets there. To me, that's all that matters. That's what's important. And I do believe that we will remember people, remember souls. I do. Because, you know, I've experienced that now in fifth density. And I'm not a fifth density. My consciousness here and now is not in fifth density. There may be an aspect of me there that is helping me, but there was recognition of souls, you know, and I have those here as well, as all of you do, you know.
Do the A's know what percentage of Terrans are of Andromedan descent? And do you know that?
It's under 1%. It's under 1%. I don't know the exact 0.00 any of that. I don't know. I just know it's under 1% from Zenite specifically. There is a larger soul group that's here from the constellation of the galaxy Andromeda than there is from the constellation of Andromeda. That's higher, but I don't know what that number is either. The overwhelming collective souls that are here come from Aldebaran, the Pleiades, Sirius, Orion, Arcturus, and Cygnus Alpha. That's the predominant soul groups that are here. And it's a very, very diverse group. These are very, very diverse groups. of beings and souls, as are the cultures they came from before they, just for whatever reason, incarnated here on Earth. That's all I know.
You have said that we who will ascend will attend schooling to learn telepathy. I have heard many stories about communicating with thoughts, mental pictures, and feelings. Do you also actually hear a voice other than your own, or is it more of an inner thought? I would really like to learn.
The thought part was more of a seance. When it comes to Mornay, I hear him. It is as if he's standing next to me and we're having a conversation. It's just, I've learned not to answer him out loud, because then I look a little, he's talking to himself. Oh, get away from him. He's talking to himself when I'm really not. So I've learned not to have those conversations out loud. But it's with Mornay, it's the voice, and I feel his presence. It's almost like he kind of moves, like in inside of me, this part of me. He attaches, and I know his frequency so well, so I always know it's him, and we always have the song that we play, which we've changed a couple of times now. So the very first song that I wanted them to use was a Johnny Rivers song called "Poor Side of Town." As a kid, I just loved that song, and I will never forget the first time Em listened to that, and he was just like, "Really? You want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I was just 8 years old, and I'm like, "I love this song. I love this song." And I know he thought I was a knucklehead. He goes, "This is a terrible song," because they listen to the words, and they don't like the words. They think that, well, they have their own opinion about music with words, with lyrics. So, but he accommodated me, and the last several are strictly instrumentations now. There's no lyrics. But he never liked the song, I can tell you that. He just thought it was so stupid. But that's his opinion, That was his opinion. So I've never told that before. I've never shared that part with anybody. Yeah, he was like, "Really?" Okay, next question.
Uh-huh. They haven't heard Cowboy Dreams then.
No.
In just case anybody is at all interested, the little theme tune I wrote for these webinars and for all these other things, it was originally for Captain Dinar, and we were recording some things with Rebecca Jernigan, and
Yes.
I just wanted a little sound check, and I said, "Alex, can you give us a little sound check?" And you started singing the song, which is, it's called Cowboy Dreams, isn't it? The sun is setting in the west, and I took that little melody fragment and made a symphony from it. So that's where we get the little tune from.
The song came from a John Wayne movie called Rio Bravo with Dean Martin and Ricky Nelson. And it's a song that Dean Martin starts to sing, and then Ricky Nelson fills in while they're sitting in a jail. It's really an interest. The sun is setting in the west. The cattle will go down to the stream. The robins settle in their nest. It's time for a cowboy to dream. Anyway, it goes on. It's it's a fun song.
So
So yeah, I haven't heard that one, and I certainly don't want that out in the galaxy. Me singing it. So,
well, I have to learn how to play it on the guitar because you know I did it with the keyboard and all that stuff. So
sure.
one day we'll perform it, and you can be on vocals. Get
Yeah,
James on
it's on
drums.
YouTube, by the way. It's on YouTube.
Uh,
You know, yeah, it's on YouTube. So
Dear Alex, I have heard you say that we can use the time for working on ourselves. Will you please share how did you work on yourself? Have you used any methods? Lots of love from Pragya.
well, that's a continuous process, frankly. Um, I'm not walking through walls. I'm not levitating objects, and I'm definitely not no wall see all. But for me, it's more of a routine. What I do is I ask myself, okay, what is it that makes me happy? What is it that brings me the most joy and the most peace? And that took a while to figure out because there's a lot of things that we do in our daily routines now, every day, especially as parents, that we do because we have to do. And we have to do them because we're putting the needs of others ahead of our own. And that's what parents do. But at the same time, we have to carve out a little bit of time for ourselves. And in so doing that, I had to ask myself, what is it that makes me happy? What is it that what is that state of consciousness that I want to be in all the time? What brings me peace? And once I figured that out, I intentionally incorporate those moments into my daily life. Now, it doesn't always mean that I have the ability to go into the woods every single day, but I live in a very beautiful place, Colorado. And, Merlin and I will do some really nice walks, and it's lovely here. So I get inspired by the trees and by nature and seeing the hawks, the rabbits, the foxes, listening to the coyotes at night, um, the cats, their banter and the way they play, Zen, how she's constantly teaching Merlin to mind his manners. That's interesting. So I find joy in that because I'm watching this relationship that they have with each other. Good music, listening to great music, music that makes me happy. The sunshine, uh, driving to the post office. It's about 8 miles from here, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous drive. So I get inspired by that. And, sometimes just the silence. I won't listen to anything. I'll just be in silence. And it's wonderful. It literally is wonderful to be able to be in silence because I've learned to hear my own frequency. And, even though I still have more growth, I like who I am. I really do. I'm coming into my own, if that makes any sense. And it's not that I didn't know 10 years ago, but at this stage of my life today, a lot of things make sense. They do. It just, things seem to fall into place. Maybe not with some pieces, but you know, we all do the best we can. And what really matters is, are you happy in the moment? Can you find happiness in the moment? Are there things you could be happy about in the moment? And then carrying those moments, that feeling with you into the next hour, into the next 2 hours, 3 hours. Are you doing what makes your heart sing, that inspires you?
There you have it, fellow truth seekers. An enlightening and exhilarating rapid-fire question and answer session with the remarkable Alex Collier, sharing his profound encounters with the benevolent Andromedan extraterrestrial beings. As we continue on our cosmic journey, let us embrace the wisdom of the Andromedans and carry their message of love, unity, and compassion with us. Together, we can create a world where humanity stands united, ready to embrace the wonders that await us in the vast expanse of the universe. If you found this rapid-fire question and answer session fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more captivating content like this. Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. Until next time, may the stars guide you on your path of enlightenment and exploration, and remember to always seek knowledge and stay curious. If you would like to see Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we host an online seminar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information and dates of upcoming online seminars, please visit alexcollier.org. Please click on one of the above videos to seek more of Alex Collier's knowledge.